Hey there, and welcome back to From Writer to Author, the podcast. I'm Veronica G, and today we're going to talk about something that trips up so many writers, and honestly, people in general. It's called perfectionism. You know that little voice in your head that says, it's not perfect yet, so don't publish it. Or, I can't start because it won't be perfect. Yeah, that one. I want to get real with you about my own struggles with perfectionism, how it almost stopped me from finishing some of my books, and most importantly, what I've learned along the way about how to move past it so you can actually get your words out into the world. So, a little backstory. I've always been a perfectionist, and for the longest time, I thought it was a good thing. After all, being a perfectionist means you're constantly trying to do better and be better, right? But here's the thing. It can also be your biggest obstacle. I realized just how much perfectionism was creeping into my life during a Tony Robbins UPW seminar back in 2004. On the very first day, he said something that honestly made me mad at first. He said, perfectionism is the lowest standard to have because it doesn't exist. He then continued to explain that when you're aiming for perfection, it's actually a form of procrastination and a setup for failure. I remember thinking at that time, wait, what? That Tony guy doesn't get it. How can perfectionism be the lowest standard? Isn't trying to be perfect a good thing? But later that night, alone in my hotel room, it hit me. What he was really saying made total sense. Perfectionism isn't about striving for excellence. It's an excuse not to start or finish. You're constantly tinkering, tweaking, and rethinking instead of actually taking action. You end up waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect manuscript, the perfect idea. And in the process, nothing ever gets done. It was then I realized Tony was right. It is a way to let fear win. Fear of being good enough, fear of judgment, fear of failing. All those fears, they're perfectionism in disguise. Now, I've let this perfectionist mindset creep into my writing more times than I can count. My early books, especially that first flop, are a perfect example. I would get an idea, get excited about it, and then stall because I didn't think it was perfect. I'd rewrite a chapter 3 or 4 times, agonize over phrasing, or get lost in details that didn't really matter, all on my quest to be perfect. Sometimes I wouldn't even start a project because it had to be just right. I had to be sure it was a great idea. I had to know it was going to be a winner first. And that's scary, right? When you think about all the ideas, dreams, and projects you want to do, and none of them get started because you're waiting for perfection, it's a real confidence killer. I remember thinking, maybe I'm just not cut out for this. Maybe I'm a failure at everything I try. That's a dangerous mindset to get stuck in. I went through periods of real depression over it, feeling like nothing I did would ever be good enough. Does any of this sound familiar to you in your life? So the turning point came when I realized that the only thing holding me back was me. Yep, just me, sitting there with my list of ideas, my fear of imperfection, and all my procrastination excuses. The moment I called myself out, that's when things started to change for me. I started focusing on action instead of perfection. I reminded myself that good enough really is good enough, at least to move forward. And let me tell you, that mindset shift was huge. Once I started finishing projects instead of obsessing over making them perfect, progress started happening. I started to see wins instead of those failures I was so afraid of. But even now, I still catch myself falling into perfectionist habits from time to time. When I was working on my Fun Things to Do in Retirement series, I sometimes felt myself staring at the chapter thinking, this isn't perfect. Nobody's going to want to read this. Maybe I should rewrite the whole thing. But here's what I learned. Readers don't want perfect. They want real. They want relatable human connection. They want to know that the author is someone who understands, cares, and can provide guidance, inspiration, or even just a little bit of laughter. And that's something perfection can't give them. It's your humanity that resonates with them, not perfection. So what's worked for me, and what do I suggest for you? Here are some of my top strategies. Number 1, There is no perfect. Strive for excellence, but don't wait for perfect, because it doesn't exist. Even best-selling authors revise their work a dozen times and still see things they'd change later. Progress beats perfection every single time. Number 2, good enough is good enough. Don't let the quest for perfection to stop your progress. Get the words out of your head and onto the page. You can't edit a blank document, but you can polish a rough draft into something amazing. Finish first, refine later. And sometimes good enough is good enough. Get your work out there. Push that publish button. No one's perfect. You can always revise and upload a new manuscript should you need to, but waiting until everything is absolutely perfect is never going to happen. Number 3, focus on the reader. Your audience doesn't need you to be perfect. They need your insights, your experience, your voice. What connects readers to your writing isn't flawless grammar or elegant phrasing. It's authenticity. Be real, and they'll feel it. Number 4, set small deadlines. Break projects into manageable chunks. Completing chapters or sections creates momentum and confidence. Each small win reminds you that you're capable, keeps your energy up, and helps you cross the finish line. Number 5, give yourself grace. Some chapters will flow like magic and others will feel like wrestling an octopus. That's normal. Skip, come back, revise. Just keep moving forward. Every page, even the messy ones, is progress. Number 6, use a support system. Talk to other authors, friends, or coaches who can offer perspective and encouragement. Sometimes an outside voice can remind you that your work is already far better than your inner critic wants you to believe. When I follow these strategies, I'm able to write more freely, finish books faster, and actually enjoy the process instead of getting trapped in endless editing loops. Writing becomes fun again, creative, expressive, and alive, just like it's meant to be. Here's the big takeaway. Perfectionism isn't helping you. It's holding you back. Your book, your ideas, your projects, they all deserve to see the light of day. You're human, and that's exactly what your readers want. They're not looking for flawless, they're looking for real. They want your stories, your lessons, your truth in your voice, not a sanitized version edited to death. Stop waiting for perfect. Start creating, start publishing, and start learning along the way. Every project you finish, no matter how imperfect it may seem to you, teaches you something valuable and gets you closer to mastery. Remember, you can't improve what you never start. The magic happens in motion, not in hesitation. So take that next step, hit publish, and trust that your future self will thank you for being brave enough to begin. And here's the motivational takeaway I want you to leave with today. Perfectionism is a trap, but awareness and action are your keys to freedom. Once you recognize that perfectionism doesn't exist, you can stop chasing it and start creating. Every time you sit down to write, finish a chapter, or hit publish, you're breaking free from the fear that holds so many writers back. Remember, mastery comes from movement, not from waiting until you feel ready or everything is perfect. Write boldly, finish proudly, publish bravely, and keep learning along the way, because progress beats perfection every single time, and consistency will take you further than flawless ever could. Next week, we're diving into one of the biggest struggles every writer faces, building a writing routine that actually sticks. I'll be sharing real-world strategies for fitting writing into your busy life without burning out or losing your momentum. We'll talk about how to create a routine that feels natural, not like another thing you have to do, how to keep showing up even when motivation dips, and how to make writing something you look forward to every day. If you've ever said, I can't seem to stay consistent, this episode is for you. Trust me, you won't want to miss it.